Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, dear academician. Today we have a very important and distinguished speaker at Istanbul Aydın University Blockchain Talks webinar. Our guest today is Mr. Bruno Calabretta. He is the founder of Aurora, and he is coaching crypto, and he is really genius in Web3 systems. He is really very busy, but he didn't want to let us down, and he thankfully accepted to be our speaker today. And he preferred to make a tour. As you know the title, he will start from blockchain, Metaverse, NFTs, and he will tell us how they will change our future, our world. So, Bruno, welcome, and I let the floor to you without any hesitation, I would say. So we are very, very keen to listen to you. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Erol. Thank you for this amazing introduction. And thank you so much for having me here today. It's really a pleasure for me to be here to share a little bit of knowledge and awareness about what is happening right now around us in the world. We know that blockchain is a very important topic at the moment that is creating a lot of interest. So it's very cool that we can have the possibility of shedding some light on what is happening right now. So I'm moving forward by presenting. Give me only 1 second. I can share my screen. Okay, you see my screen correctly?
Yes. Great.
Okay, so the topic of today is to spread some light and awareness about the amazing world of blockchain and everything that it comes with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about crypto, NFTs, and Metaverse, and let's see how these tools are changing our world. And also, I would like to talk a little bit about what is happening right now in the space and what are the improvements and the new features that we are going to see happening in the near future. So first of all, I think that we should start with what is blockchain and why do we need blockchain? We are hearing this word so much, but most of the time people do not know what is this blockchain tool and what is its purpose. So let's start by saying, why do we need blockchain? We need this tool because right now in our world, we have a big problem. We have a problem of trust. We do not trust our neighbors, we don't trust the media, we don't trust the government. And the reason that there is all this trust issue, it can be solved. It can be solved by using blockchain technology. Let me ask you a question. Did it ever happen to you that you go to a shop and you want to buy some organic coffee, and then you're willing to spend a little bit more than classic coffee just because it's organic? But how do you know that this coffee is organic? You're just trusting that the company that has placed a label over that coffee is telling you that it's organic. You can just trust it. You can just, raise your shoulder and say, okay, I'm going to take a risk. But you don't have any way for checking this information. With blockchain, this can change. You can start to double check the information that are being provided to you without going through the issue of relying, first of all, on a third party. So this means that you will have the possibility of using the technology for understanding if you can trust a certain information that is given to you. Before to move to the next example, there is a couple of things I like to say. That when we talk about blockchain, it's very important to don't confuse it with other tools that are existing in the world, like, for example, cryptocurrency, programming language, cryptographic codification, also artificial intelligence. These are all tools that can be integrated in the blockchain world and that can be used with blockchain technology. But this must not be confused with blockchain itself. There is an example that I like to make when I speak about blockchain. And for making this example, I'm going to take a couple of minutes. As you can see in my presentation, there is an image about a board game. So I think this is going to be the best way for explaining in few words how blockchain technology is really working. So let's imagine that we are a group of people and we are playing at a board game. When we play at this board game, there are a couple of rules that we need to keep in mind for moving to the next step. So the first rule is that each one of us, in the moment we are playing to this game, and each one of us is making a score, and we are reporting the score on the board, it's very important that each one of us is going to take a picture of this board. So that in this way, the next time that we are making a round and people that are playing need to write the new score on the board, we need to double check on our phone the previous picture that we took and double check that all the results that are written on our phone are the same results that we have on the board. And what does it mean? It means that if over a little bit that we are playing, there is somebody, for example, Erol, that wants to change one of the results on the board, and it's using a moment that maybe we are distracted and it's going to go on the board. It's erasing one of the results and is changing it in a certain way. Then we go back to play. Remember the rule, we have to check the picture that we have on our phone. And by checking it, we can see that the result on the board, it's different from the previous picture that each one of us has. Because of this information that each one of us own, we don't have to rely on a third party that is going to tell us, yeah, no, the result on the board is correct. We can do this double check on our own. And this is how the incredible potential of blockchain is manifesting, because in this way, we have the possibility of making this check on our own, and we don't have to rely on somebody else. And in the moment we see that the result has changed, but the copy that each one of us is owning is different, we can invalidate that result and bring the result as it was before. And here we go to the three main principles of a blockchain technology. An immutable ledger, so this means that it's something that nobody can change it, nobody can alter it, so it's immutable. Peer-to-peer, so this means that all the people that we are playing at this game, we are all the same. The value of each one of us is the same. So we are peer, and each one of us has this information that can double check, and only by reaching a consensus, and here we go to the third principle, working on a consensus protocol, meaning that all the users need to double check their data, and only after reaching a consensus that we are all agreeing that all the data written in the blockchain is correct, we can move forward and add other information into it. Now, when we talk of cryptocurrency, there is something that a lot of people have trouble with it. They cannot touch it. So because they cannot touch it, they don't understand what is the real value of it. But let's start just with the basic. A cryptocurrency is just decentralized money. So it was created to be digital. So you don't have to touch it. You don't have to smell it. Its role is just to be used online. And the main characteristic of it is that it's decentralized money. It means that you don't have a central authority as it's happening right now with fiat money, euro, dollar, yen, rubles, wherever it is, where there is a central authority that is controlling how this money is being used, how many they are printing it, and all the rates that are associated to it. So cryptocurrency wants to solve some of the problems that we are having in our world nowadays. Like, for example, eliminating all this outdated and expensive payment system. Imagine that when you have to do a wire transfer, you're going to spend a lot of money in fees, plus it's going to take a long time. While instead, if you want to transfer money as cryptocurrency, it's going to be very easy. You can reach this potential in 2-3 minutes, according to the network that you are using. You are cutting the middleman, so there will be any more a person or a third party in the middle that is taking a fee every time that you are performing a transaction. And then the last and the most important, we want to put people in charge of their own money. And this is the main concept of decentralization. Decentralization means that we start to become the central authority, so we don't need to rely on anybody else except on us. Now, one thing that decentralized money can do better than other is to solve a lot of problems that our world is facing nowadays. Like, for example, financial equality. We know that at the moment there are more than 3 billion people in the world that don't have access to financial services. What does it mean? It means that they don't have access to the bank system. It means that they don't have access to the credit. They cannot go to a bank and ask for a loan. And this is a problem, because without all these services, all these 3 billion people will not have access to change their life in better, to send their kids to school, to put a roof above their head, to buy a new car, to buy new books, to increase improve the way that they are living their life. And the same thing, what it can happen, it can be to reduce corruption and also eliminate extreme money printing. That is exactly what happened a couple of years ago during COVID and brought to the inflation rates that we are seeing nowadays. Because what happened a few years ago was that the United States were printing a lot of money for creating a stimulus check. And this stimulus check was supposed to be used for increasing the way that money were being spent and for don't make feel people that because there was a pandemic, there was an economical crisis. But because of all this money that were being printed, what happened was that the inflation increased, and because of supply and demand, the supply has increased, and we found ourselves that the current money are decreasing in value. So we can solve a lot of problem with decentralized money. So this is just a little bit of food for thoughts. So in this way, we can better understand what is happening starting from the basic. Now, let's go and talk about another topic, NFT. NFT, we know it as non-fungible token. Sometimes for people, it's difficult to understand what is this non-fungible token. I want to explain this just in an easy way by making an example. So when we talk of fungible is an asset or something that can be easily exchanged with something else. Let's imagine that Erol is borrowing me 10 euro, and in the 10 euro that he's giving me, he's applying his signature. Now, after 1 month, I'm coming back to Erol and I'm giving him 10 euro back. But this 10 euro, the bill that I'm giving him, is not the same. It's not the one that he gave to me with this signature on it. And here is the concept of fungible. It doesn't need to be the same bill, because every bill of 10 euro is the same. And the same will happen, for example, with dollar, with rupias, with Bitcoin, with Ethereum. Each one of it is going to be the same. When we talk instead of non-fungible, we're talking of an asset that is unique, that it cannot be exchanged with something that is similar. If, for example, I'm creating a copy of the Mona Lisa from Leonardo da Vinci, that copy is never going to be the same as the one that we have in the Louvre, because the one in the Louvre, what makes it unique is its characteristic, the painting, the material that has been used, the kind of paint, the dimension of the painting, and where it's stored. So we cannot say that a copy of the Mona Lisa is the same as the original one. And here we go to the concept of NFT. An NFT is an asset that is unique, and these characteristics are determined by its own property. So when we talk of non-fungible token, it means that we are putting together the potential of the blockchain with the uniqueness of a non-fungible asset. So which means that attributes, properties, characteristics, and even ownership rights are stored on the blockchain. And back we go to our original principle. Blockchain is immutable. Nobody can change the information that are there. So an NFT, it can be like a container where you put a lot of information in it, and these are stored in a safe way that nobody can change it. And now let's go to the fourth concept that I want to talk about today, and this is the metaverse. Now, when we talk about the metaverse, it's difficult to give a reply and say, what is the metaverse? Because the metaverse is being built at the moment, right now. We still don't know what it is. We know that it's going to be an amazing technology. We know that are existing already different worlds, this different multiverse. They are calling like digital world where you can do whatever you want, but still we don't know what it is exactly. It's a technology that we are about to build. But there is an example that I like to make to try to make understand what is the metaverse. So the metaverse, we can imagine it as like an amazing place where we can do whatever we want and where everything is possible. Let's imagine to go to Disneyland Paris. So Disneyland Paris is an amazing place where we can go, we can play, we can have fun, we can bring our friends, and we can be whoever we want. And this can be seen as the metaverse. Now imagine that when you enter inside Disneyland, you are going to need tickets. And this kind of ticket, what can be? The NFT. And through an NFT that you are buying, you have the access to this metaverse. And then when you are going around this Disneyland place, you can buy toys, you can buy poster, you can buy different things that are sold into the shop. And these things that are sold in the shop are going to be also NFT. But the shop that are selling this NFT can be seen as the Web3 environment. So this new thing that we are hearing about. And one last thing, when we talk about this amazing place, we know that there is going to be grid for electricity, there is going to be road, there is going to be places that are bringing you around. And this is the blockchain. So the blockchain is making all of this happen. Then the game that we have on top, they can be the NFT that can be sold by this Web3 place that are going to be the shop. And the whole environment is going to become the metaverse. So I hope that this was clear, because this is a concept that is very dear to me, but still very complicated to explain. So I hope that this example made it easy. And now let's go and speak about something that is happening in the world today. And let's try to understand in which way blockchain, metaverse, and NFTs are changing our world. So we already know that the metaverse is considered one of the most influential sector that we have at the moment. And through the metaverse, we can see that the adoption is going to be brought to the next level. We can say this because of the amount of money that have been already invested and that are about to be invested in this environment and in this kind of new technologies. Just to make a few examples, only in 2021, 57 billion have been invested in the metaverse. Only in 2022, we had around 300 billion that have been invested in the metaverse. So this means that the investment that has been put in this technology has been already 400% bigger than the one that were put in 2021. And according to McKinsey & Co., there is a study that is saying that the metaverse is going to have a potential by 2030 to be a market of from $4 to $5 trillion. I just want to show you some other data to tell you how much this metaverse is important and how we can see how the big players are already part of it. So we know that Facebook has changed its name into Meta because they see the potential of this environment and they're already building a new metaverse. Then we have Roblox. Roblox is a big gaming company that went public in March 21 and their valuation was of $41 billion. NVIDIA, one of the biggest company in producing microchip and technological component, is about to launch its Omniverse. That is going to be a new tool that it will be used for expanding the metaverse. Plus, we have Epic Gaming that has already received more than $1 billion in fund for supporting its metaverse vision. And according also to McKinsey & Co., we have some data that we will collect directly from consumer and users that are already being involved in the metaverse. And we've seen that out of 3,104 consumer polled, 60% of those prefer at least to perform one activity in the in a meta world compared to the physical world. 59% of the consumer are already excited about this digital transition that is about to happen. And then we have a 79% of the consumer that are currently active in some of the existing metaverse, and they've already made at least one purchase. These data are struggling if we think about it. And then there is something else that is starting to take attention, and this tokenization. When we talk of tokenization, it means of securing into digital data information that are associated to art, medical data, criminal data, vehicle information, medical records. All of this information can be stored online. Like imagine ourselves. all the data that we've collected, all our medical records, for example, are stored by an hospital. But let's imagine that we've lived in so many places around the world, and our data are spread around different hospitals. Maybe it's something about, something is in Turkey, something is in London, something is in New York, because we traveled a lot. And we find ourselves that our age, maybe my age that I'm 34, I don't have any medical record about me because all my medical records are stored who knows where. But let's imagine that every time that I've been into an hospital, into an emergency room, or something related to healthcare, and some kind of data have been created for me, and I get the possibility of storing this data inside some kind of NFT or token. And then when I'm going to the hospital and the doctor wants to visit me and he wants to know my medical history, I just have to grant him access to my data, and he can see automatically all my historical data. I can see everything that happened to me. If I'm allergic to something, what kind of trauma I had, if I went through some surgeries. And this is going to make his life also easier for prescribing the best therapy according to the reason why I went there. And then just to give some other data, we know already that all the big brands are already investing so much money in NFT, in creating membership, in giving value to their user. Some of the name, Nike, Starbucks, what they're accomplishing, it's resonating worldwide. Recently, we had Porsche and BMW that are creating new NFT that will be used by their user itself. We have the NBA, the National Basketball Association, and the NFL, the National Football League, that they are already investing in NFT for giving new advantages to their users, but also to their player. So we can already see that change is about to happen. A lot of things. The world is like in a phase that it might look that something is going wrong. But if we think what is happening today is the same thing that happened 20 years ago when the internet started. There was a crazy euphoria behind the internet, and there was the classic dot-com bubble. That is exactly what is happening right now. I like to call our period today the dot-com bubble 2.0, because everything is the same. The newspaper that were talking bad about internet, now they've changed their title, and instead of using the word internet, they are using the word blockchain. But the change is about to happen, and now it's up to us to embrace it. Now, I wanted to touch very quickly the topic about FTX and what is happening, because this is something that has created a lot of turmoil and has shaped our world. But there is one thing that I want to make clear by this slide. FTX, so an exchange, is not crypto, is not blockchain. A lot of people today are making the mistake of confusing exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, FTX with blockchain technology. There is nothing more wrong than this. Blockchain technology is one thing, exchanges are another thing. So for all of you that are listening, keep in mind that when we talk about exchanges, exchanges are just platforms that you must use only for buying or selling cryptocurrency. An exchange is not a bank. So you should not keep your crypto into the exchange, because if then something is happening to the exchange, then you lost all your money, you lost all your assets. So always go for self-custody. Open a cold wallet, a small USB that you can keep it everywhere, are safe. Nobody can hack them, and you are going to be the only one that can have access to it. So you decide to buy some Bitcoin because you're looking for your future, you want to hedge your position. Remember, use the exchange as a platform where you only do buy and sell, but don't use it as a platform where you hold and where you store your crypto and your digital asset. Now, there are three main things that are happening at the moment in our world. Regulation that are coming, And we know that this is happening because thanks to FTX and to all the bad news that we've seen in 2021, the government are getting more and more involved in this space. And this is good because without proper regulation, we are not going to see the mass adoption. We are not going to see people adopting and using it in their everyday life. So regulation is very important. Then we are going to have an improvement in the user interface, but also in the user experience. What does it mean? If today it's difficult to promote the mass adoption, is because still the way that we are using our phone for interacting with this crypto space, it's difficult to understand. If we expect our parents, my mom, my dad to use it, they are still going to find it difficult. So we need to improve the overall user experience and the overall user journey to make sure that the adoption will arrive, because this has to become an easy process. It's like when you go into a plane and you are about to take a flight, you don't worry how the engine of the airplane is working. You know that it's working. You trust the process behind. Your user journey when you are taking a plane, it's easy. So that's why you do it without worrying. The same thing has to happen when you deal with blockchain technology. And then the third and most important thing, experimentation. This means that we can see a much more testing in new things like social token, decentralized autonomous organization, Web3 tool. The world is changing, and we are seeing that the new generation want to experiment more. They want to try different things. They want to see what they can achieve by using a new technology and what it can be the advantage for them. So by keeping this in mind, let's move to the next step, that it will be just a small advice from me, that it's a little bit the time in this space, to all the people that are approaching this world, that wants to know more. Remember, the future is at your fingertip. Like everything in life, nothing will come from night to day. So remember that every journey is going to require patience and perseverance. So this means that even if the journey might look hard, don't take it bad. It's part of the journey to go like this. There is one thing that I like to say all the time. We need to fail to achieve big result, because failure is part of our journey. And if we don't fail, if we don't make mistake, we will never understand what are the real potentials of what we are doing. The important is that even if we are making mistakes, we are always ready to continue. We always have a good spirit of positivity to move ahead. So even if the time might look hard, stay positive, because the future is bright and is just around the corner. So my name is Bruno Calabretta. Thank you again for having me here today. I hope that I didn't bother you too much and that you enjoy all this talk. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And again, my motto is be safe, be innovative, be successful.
Thank you very much, Bruno Calabretta. Really, we are very, very happy to listen to your knowledge, I would say, and ideas that you shared with us. And we really appreciate of your participation. And also, we are really very glad to have you at our Istanbul Aydın University Blockchain Talks webinar.
My pleasure, Erol. And I don't know if there is any kind of question that you would like to ask, or there is something that popped up after this presentation. I'm here also for this, but really thank you for this opportunity. It's my pleasure to share some knowledge.
I think there is no questions from the participants, because I think it was really so nicely covered, all the things, that even we could have no questions anymore.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of Istanbul Aydın University Blockchain Talks, we are thankful to you, and we hope that we will have soon some interaction with you, some projects, and I hope we will benefit from you. I'm telling you very openly, for our university and for our students. Thank you
It will
very much.
be a pleasure for me, Erol. It's a pleasure to be here for the Istanbul IDN University. You know, me too, when I was at university some years ago now, I was always enjoying this kind of talk with people that had always something to share with the students. So it's my pleasure to share something with you guys. And please keep me involved in the activities that you are doing. Always happy to bring more value to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.